Hi there, everybody. We're here. I don't know how the Spirit's going to move me with things, everything I want to share, but I do want to start with showing you a new trial I did with one painting that I've been following another artist, Simon Bull, and I gotta say, I'm highly impressed. I would love to own one of his things. I just don't have $8,000 to pay for one. But I'm playing around with it and starting to make it my own. It won't be his for sure, but I'm pretty happy with what I got started with. And it's still wet. I don't know if you can see it. It's supposed to be redwoods and might have a few too many small trees, but it's going with stuff in a different way than I've done before, and it's pretty fun. I'm going to be using the fluid paint in these two bottles, and right now we're going to start with just step one. So I'm going to get this one out of the way, my first trial, and just to see what happens when it dries. And I think one thing I do want to share is a couple years ago, I was very close to literally giving away all my paint supplies. And because I had tried selling some at a flea market and absolutely nothing sold. Had several admirers. And something already spilled on here. Especially one picture in particular. Crazy thing was another one that a lot of people really liked. I called it 5 loaves and 2 fish. And one person was just standing and staring at it and just like in awe and super impressed. And then he asked me about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's called 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he looked at me, he's like, what? And I said, yeah, from the Bible, when Jesus fed 5,000 people with 2 loaves and 5 fish. And his face just dropped, and he's like, okay, thanks, and quickly moved on. Let's get away. That was a real bummer. He's like, yeah, I may come back later. Well, of course, he did not come back later. And I didn't sell absolutely any that day. And I had prayed about it. And I got, please, please. I sold 2 paintings the last time. Please just let me sell 3. I think it was 3. And it was like, maybe if this doesn't sell, maybe it's time for me to hang it up. And yeah, I sold absolutely none. Even with admirers, I sold no paintings. In fact, I actually even gave one away to somebody who really liked what I did, but they didn't have the money to get any, and they wanted my contact information. Never did hear from them again, but I'm like, okay, obviously I'm done. And I didn't do anything for a long time. I didn't give it away, but I didn't really use anything. And then it's like, no, I need to do this. So here I am, obviously. And I just hope you enjoy this as much as I enjoyed doing it. And I welcome any questions, any comments, any redirection. You can tell me about a time you were ready to give up on something because it didn't look like it was supposed to be doing anything. Because I think some of it was I was supposed to get to a point where I was wanting to do more with, I guess, using my art as a contribution in some way. And so hopefully this is kind of it. So what I'm wanting to do, and I told you about how bronze takes over paintings when I slip it in, and so I'm like, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. I had a bottle of bronze paint, and so I decided it's going to be my background. And if you look at it, it's kind of cool the way it dried, because I didn't put any black on it or anything, but the way it dried, it kind of looks like multiple tree trunks in here, so it gives it a little bit of a rustic feel. So what I want to do is, and it's not copying what this other artist has done, but I'm going to do my interpretation of kind of the same thing and see how it turns out. So let's give it a shot. This is the first time I've mixed these paints in a bottle to squeeze out. Here, I need to get a little thicker here. And I want to go with, you know, kind of spring in the mountains. So I'm hoping to do get these branches. Well, it's going to be very authentic with how branches grow, huh? Because there is no rhyme or reason, but they look good. That is until we have to trim them to keep them from laying on power lines. But yeah, there's kind of no specific purpose that I can see, but you know, who knows, maybe things are on because it looks balanced if you just let things go. But also we were commanded in Genesis to subdue the creation and cultivate it and grow it. I'd read a novel years ago where the author was all about, you know, preserving things, and, you know, felt really skittish about picking flowers, anything like that. Because she's like, you know, it's not going to last that long. So why pick them, make things, you know, take away from nature? And I was just like, oh wow, that is so deep. And then later I got thinking, as I did more of my own landscaping, that no, in order for things to keep growing, you have to prune things back. Because otherwise, like, I got some really nice, my run rose bush, the roses were just huge, but, you know, I had to prune them back. And I guess that is a biblical principle. God says that if we you know, he prunes those who show no fruit, who aren't in step with him, that just, you know, they may like to talk a big story, or they may just show up, or, you know, not even show up. It's like, when it comes to the ultimate end of the family, things get pruned out. Okay. So anyway, but no pruning today. So I've got a feeling, I don't think this other artist is in any danger of me taking over. But you know what? We're not supposed to be other people. We're supposed to be who we're made to be. And I know sometimes it's hard for me. I see people I've really admired, and you know, comparison does us no good, one reason or another. It doesn't do us good if we're comparing ourselves to somebody that we're like, oh my gosh, they're so much better. How come? You know, what's wrong with me? And it's no good to compare to somebody that maybe you got something a little more on top of them and go, golly, why can't they keep up? So anyway, yeah, before I go to try and create my own redwood forest, I definitely want to see how these paints will dry. I'm very excited that I literally just found out I have rewards to redeem in an art store because I think I ran through a lot of paint just getting this stuff together. All right, so let me go to the next step. And I decided purple would be good against this bronze, so I'm going to try for some purple and white flowers. And if you have some color combinations you would like to see instead, please let me know. Actually, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking this would be a great way to make butterflies. I know it'd be nice to have a little inspirational music here. I'm sure I'll have figured out how to speed this up so you don't have to watch a long, laborious time of me. Doing flower petals. Okay, I gotta say, I am pretty much digging this style of painting. It is fun. It's kind of like getting the best of both of my painting worlds. Doing traditional painting where you get a lot more control versus this where you don't have near as much control. Okay. And I'll probably put a hummingbird, maybe a couple hummingbirds or butterflies in the background. Yes, we should be glad I didn't pick to do this with a big painting, super big painting right off the bat. Okay. Just kind of get a little random here. Okay, now, especially since I don't know, maybe this is taking on kind of a dogwood look. Actually, what I wanted to not use that. Okay, so I will be right back. Okay, so chose another tool, not a balloon. I'm using my little grape. And just trying to make extra little flowers. And the random runaways there. Okay. All right. I'm gonna see if I can get you closer to see how I'm doing this. Actually, I'll get me closer, maybe. Alrighty. Grab a little paint to finish that. Okay, so I think this is where we're going to go for now. And yes, of course, I go with the flow, huh? Okay, well, this will be my start. I like how maybe I should have done it like he does, which is make it so it's little petals. And then just a dollop of the other color in the middle. All right, well, this is it for now, and I'll be back to show you a finished product. Thanks for hanging with me. Okay, so I'm back. Took a little break and played around with how I wanted to do these flowers better. Again, just keeping from getting frustrated when things aren't going the right way, and things eventually do come together. So I'm gonna close up, get you a little closer here so you can see kind of what I'm doing. Maybe there. Okay, let's get this just a little better. And maybe a little closer. All right. I'll close in so you can see a little bit more what I'm doing here. So, what I've got, let's go that way. We will get there. Okay. I'm going to start over here so you can see a little more what I'm doing. I got some of these petals looking pretty good. So let's see if I can get some more. Had to buy a different kind of purple. Because I couldn't find exactly what I wanted. Usually I don't have a whole lot of trouble finding the shades of purple I want. But this time I did, so hopefully I got in luck. And what I was able to find will work. And some of these I'm going to just be... Now the technique I'm going to be using is actually using a straw to kind of blow it out. And here I have, and again, it's the dioxazine purple. And this is supposed to be already pre-mixed fluid art, so this should do what I want it to. If not, you know, we'll just go with it. We will find a way to get things so it works. But I started this before Memorial Day. Yesterday was Memorial Day and I had to work, so I'm back. Got the time to do this and not feel rushed. Art to me is something that shouldn't feel rushed. Every time I try to rush something, it does not work. It's kind of like one of those things, you know, most things in life. The only thing to rush is, I think we can all agree, athletic competitions. Let me shake this just a little bit more. And yay, nothing. Because the ones I got that worked out really look kind of cool. I don't know if there are any trees that really look like this, but hey, you know. There is in my world. And I painted on a hummingbird, if you haven't been able to see it. When I get this all done, I may another time, but I want to get this out today. I may add another one, but I'm using a straw and I'm just going to blow into these to make little petals. So this one needs a little more white. Needs a little more white in there. purple here. Whoops. Ah, ooh. And when you can have some control of things, it's hard to keep under control. Stuff just flies around. But you know what? Phrase from a movie from a long time ago. I think it was Hamburger Ridge. Adapt, improvise, and overcome. All right, so I am going to stop filming for right now, and I'll bring you back in when I'm about done. Okay, so here we are. This is what it looks like, at least wet. Kind of fun. I know my hummingbird seems a little understated over all this, but yeah, this is, I think I got some decent flowers. It would have been nice probably to have maybe had something to go under it to give it more texture. But yeah, I think not too shabby for my first round of this. Alrighty. Okay, I think we're done here, and I just wanted to finish up with just a couple things. Mostly, you know, don't give up. Something, you may have a picture in your head about something and it's not turning out the way you want. Sometimes don't be so quick to say it's over, it's done, I'm throwing it out, or forget this. I've told my kids anything we're doing is gonna take effort. Also, this is kind of modeled after, I'm sure I've seen other paintings similar to this. This is kind of modeled after an artist I think you've heard me talk about. He's kind of one of my new favorites. Still love Akiane, but Simon Bowles pretty good. And this is modeled a little bit after something he's done. Doesn't look a thing like his. You know what? That's okay. Do I love his artwork? Absolutely. And this is my first try at this. I don't think it looks too bad, but you know what? There are certain things in life that we have to be who we are. Now, let me say, you know, that's certain things. There are other things it's like, you know, don't make up who you are. Don't overthink who you are. And I'm an overthinker, so I know what I'm talking about. But you know what? Just because yours doesn't look just like somebody else's, that's fine. That's fine. Embrace it. But also, as I was finishing creating my extra little flowers here that I really hope dry as good as it looks right now, I got thinking of one of the verses I used in my Hope book, Hope Driving Out Fear. And it was about how Jesus tells us not to worry. And in Matthew 6:28-30, it says, "Why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So, yeah, do we stay alert to get things done that were supposed to be done? Absolutely. You don't just wait for things to drop into your lap. But do you get worried if things aren't going the way you planned? No. Seek guidance from other people, pray about it, and listen, and just embrace life. So anyway, done here. I really hope you all had a good Memorial Day weekend, and for all those people who lost loved ones during any conflicts from years ago to now, pray for you. I am so sorry for your loss. Stay strong and know that there are better days ahead. So anyway, thanks so much. Have a great rest of the day, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.